stand down for your justice alive.
Everybody quiet, the government's trying to speak. Take a look around you and tell me, what do you see? Do you see these people fighting and dying to keep the peace? No, what I see is a monster. Everybody quiet, the government's trying to speak. Take a look around you and tell me, what do you see? Do you see the home of the brave and the land of the free? No, what I see is a monster.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this special podcast on the TransAsia event. And we're going to have a discussion here regarding this chaotic event, this controversial, highly controversial topic, especially among researchers and the event skeptic community. And people, of course, over the past week or so, we can have asked the question, is it real or is it staged? So here we're going to explore why people think it's staged and and give our perspective on things. We have a couple of skeptics of the event here joined with me here, as it's David from deep inside the rabbit hole.
What's going on, Red Pill?
How's it going, brother?
Very well.
Thanks for joining, man. And PK, of course, the loudmouth Ozzy.
The loudmouth with the muted microphone.
The loudmouth who's not so loud-mouthy at the moment. So yeah, we're going to be discussing this and basically talk about how if it is staged, what is the relevance, and also we're going to be getting into 9/11 because if it is staged, I feel like it is relevant to 9/11, and we're going to be getting into that as well. So on that note, PK, what's been going on with you, brother? Your account has been down for quite some time. Many people aren't aware of this. That's why you haven't put out a video on this event. So you've remained in the shadows somewhat, but also you've been in the comment sections as well regarding this event. So yeah, what have you been up to, man? And give people an update on your side of things.
Yeah, good day, Dave. Good day, Red Pill.
Good day. Good day. You have the floor. You have the floor, brother.
I've got the floor. Okay.
Go ahead.
Just as well I've been in the shadow. Otherwise, if I put up a few videos, imagine the kerfuffle about this. To be honest, at the start, I couldn't give a stuff about this plane thing, and
yeah. I mean, what happened when it first started? What was going on with you? Obviously, your account was down, but when it first occurred, what was your feeling on this when it first occurred, and what were you thinking?
Okay. It's been like a week or so now. My account's been down for, I got 2 more days left. It's down for 14 days, so I've got 2 days left. To be honest, I haven't really worried about anything in the whole first week. Then this plane thing came up, and I don't want to go too long on this, but I had a good friend of mine. I was a good friend of mine on Skype, and we had just a couple of comments and disagreements, and I told him to sort of F off because he told me what to do, and he did. He deleted me, so that's not a problem. But then we'll do it live. Or just before that, I mean, I looked at a couple of videos. I mean, I looked at it straight away, and I thought, yeah, doesn't look right to me. CGI. I'm aware of 9/11 and fakery, image fakery, and it smelt like it. I mean, it just didn't look right.
Yeah,
I didn't worry about it too much. I saw a few videos. Russian vids happened to be one of them, and I checked him out. I'm subscribed to him.
Yeah,
I'm subscribed to a few people. It's my choice.
I am as well. I think that no matter how you feel about a person, like even people I really don't like as a person, or I'm not in agreement with everything they say, I'm still stay subscribed to them. I even stay subscribed to all the shills, right? And I think that's what's important is, of course, listen to all, follow none. You should be subscribed to anyone. You should never say, hey, don't subscribe to this person. That's just my outlook on it. That's my opinion anyway. But
yeah, well, the term shills, it's termed so loosely. It's sort of the buzzword at the moment, and I don't want to get involved in shills. Yeah. I couldn't give a stuff. I don't care about other people's relationship with other people on YouTube or whatever. What you call it, a truth movement. that's their business. I judge for people for. I don't judge people. I judge them by the channels, the videos, the content and quality of the videos, and
That's
I
right.
don't give it. I don't care what Russian Vids has done previously. I don't want to know. I looked at his video, and I couldn't care who it was. I watched his video, and I agreed with just about most of the things he said. And I made a comment. Before I go, I've made a few videos that are going to come out soon. But so be prepared, everyone, and we know who I'm going to be talking about.
Stay
Sorry.
tuned for that. Yes. What's on your backup, right? Your PK, your current one.
Yeah, it's not a backup. It's my channel. That's all.
That's your main. It's your main channel now. Yeah. Sorry. Excuse me.
I mean, I could get into that, but
So how many days do you have left for your channel to be back up? Your suspension.
Two.
Okay.
But look, I've got health problems. I've got a mother I've got to look after who's been in hospital. You know, I've got issues. I've got a life to live, and I've got a huge thing coming up with Dave in 2 days' time. We're going on a coast to coast radio show to talk about Boston, and that means a lot to me. I've been invited on a show that's got so many.
Hang on. You're going on Caravan to Midnight, the John B. Wells show, not Coast to Coast.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah, because I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm in Australia, mate. I don't listen to those.
When is that?
That's going to be Thursday. We're recording Thursday morning, and it'll be aired Thursday afternoon.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll put a link for that information below after the video is published.
All right.
Well,
right.
Cool. So my main interest is that at the moment, has been for a while, because we want to put images and little video clips, and we're going to talk through it for like, God knows, 3 hours. I don't know, but we're going to make this good, because there's going to be thousands of people listening to this, and as you know, I mean, I don't know, I'm the Boston guy. Everyone's, even the people that are knocking me big time now, say, he's only good for Boston, but well, at least I'm good for something. So the reason I kept this second channel, I told you guys that I had enough. I'd lost my channel, and guys convinced me to stay on. Even our friend from Free Radio. But my real intention was just to put up all Boston videos, and as long as my videos were sitting somewhere, I couldn't care if I continued making other videos. And I loaded up 90 videos of Boston, and then I got my second strike. So here I am. So hopefully I don't even know if I want to put up more videos to get another strike, but I don't want to encourage people to flag me now that I've said that. But lose my channel, I don't know what I'll do. There's a video coming up, and I'll explain this. So I look forward to it, guys. But just to continue about the TransAsia thing and Russian vids. I mean, the thing about Russian vids, I just want to clear this up. I don't support anyone. I have my own opinions on guys. I'm getting hauled over the coals over this because of our friend Jeff C, who was he is I want to use the word attack, because he's using that everyone's attacking him. No one is attacking this guy, and people, I don't know who's going to listen to this podcast, but I have not attacked him in one single comment I have made to him. I've hardly made any comments to this guy. I have not gone in his video and made any comments. I have not called this guy anything bad since the day I have met this guy. But in the last 3 or 4 days, this is all going to come up in video. He says he's got screenshots. Well, bring them on, because I have got screenshots to match and even double what he's got of what he has threatened me. He has threatened me with comments. He has threatened me on chat shows that he wants to break my neck. He says I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I live on the other side of the world. He would come to my door and fucking break my neck and shit. It's all going to come out. So people, if you think this is a nice guy, just wait 2 or 3 days, and the real truth, and there's more bombshell about this guy I'm going to expose.
Oh man! Well, listen, PK, listen.
Sorry, I know I got detracted. I had to bring this up.
Don't get carried away. But look, I know you. Okay. Listen, this is why I wanted to give you the floor as well, because you want to get a lot off your chest. You haven't been able to make videos this whole time. Yes, Free Radio Revolution has been, publicly, speaking with regards to you, and all of that should have been done in private. And it's been handled, like you said, poorly on every side, but it's out there now, and so I understand. I think I can understand anyway where you're coming from. You want to express yourself, and no one has been able to hear your side of the issue. So yeah, we're going to be looking forward to your videos. I mean, and just try to keep it minimal though.
Okay. That's my bit on it.
So,
The videos will tell everything. That's the last I want to talk about him now.
But I understand your point though. You brought up a good point. You don't support any. You listen to everyone, and you base your who you watch on content, and that's what my main point I want to drive is that we're all subscribed to people that even we don't like, and it's just about the truth. And that's my thing about, of course, you mentioning Russian vids and similar accounts or YouTube channels like Russian vids, who I don't agree with or I'm not personally fond of. I still agree with them on the event, and I'm going to acknowledge the good points they make on events. That's how I felt about Russian vids, and in no way, shape, or form I was aligning myself with him or agreeing with him on other points of calling people shills. Again, that's an absurd notion, anyways, to call people shills if they are based upon their outlook on an event.
I got kind of fried for commenting on that video, and I was basically commenting on the content of his investigation of the crash. I didn't even notice that he called Jeff a shill in the video because that doesn't matter to me. I was just looking at the content, what happened, and if you look at the content of this crash, the anomalies just line up, and the more you look, the more there are. Somebody just posted. Have you guys seen the two different skylines from across the river? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I don't know where they came from. I don't know. I haven't vetted them out yet, but there's two completely different skylines when you're looking at the plane.
Right. Yeah, people have mentioned that. That's similar. That's actually similar. Again, we're going to get into 9/11. Similar to the media fakery used on 9/11. You have the different skylines, right? The comparisons. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
yeah, I don't know if you can see my screen right now. There's two different skylines.
Let me.
Wow.
Oh, can you see that?
Never seen that. Is that the same angle though? Hang on.
It sure looks like it. If you look at the edge of the plane, the curve of the nose of the plane or the tail of the plane. I don't know what that's from. It's so low resolution. I mean, this could be something completely different.
Right.
But we gotta. It kind of looks like the shoreline.
Yeah.
Guys, can we just get into this because I've got a lot of things to talk about. This I just want to conclude.
Okay, finish what you were saying, PK, David, if you don't mind. So let PK finish up his point.
The way I saw it at the start, I wasn't even going to bother making videos. The comment I made was virtually, I think this, and this, but people, get over it. And that's the words I said. Let's get over it. Get over it. It's no big deal. But then you put out your video, which I sort of think was the instigator of all this infighting with Jeff, and that's all you did. You put out a video, but you called the 100% real hoax.
Right, which was a mistake, of course, and I acknowledge that. And listen,
all right,
should have
put 99%. Sorry. Okay.
Well, the thing is, of course, people will explain it away with the video compression. So of course, it's the incorrect. I titled it incorrectly and approached it incorrectly there, and I admitted that. But yeah, that's what sort of got it out there, and I did put the video out.
Okay, but it's not okay for you to say it's 100% hoax, but then this other guy says it's 100% real.
Right.
And that's what irked me, especially coming from a supposed guy who puts out a video for 22 minutes explaining how he works out hoaxes. And that's what insulted me. Before that, he put out that CGI footage of images of the plane rescue. He kept every second word was CGI. It's CGI.
I know, PK.
Mocking us.
PK, we talked about this yesterday. I went on the podcast and screamed at each other, and I brought this up about the CGI, and that's why he pulled it, because it upset everyone, because we cannot downplay the issue of CGI, because if this is in fact a staged event, people need to understand that CGI and the media fakery is going to be the most crucial component moving forward to their big plans, whether if it's going to be a future false flag, huge false flag that they're going to pull off, involving these types of techniques. And this is, in my opinion, this goes into what these plain psyops are all about, gearing up for a future event for their future plans. Now, we'll get into that some more. I feel strongly about that. I'll elaborate more on that, but please go ahead, PK.
Okay, he pulled that video. Not anywhere did he explain to anyone in the video, like he always does, why he pulled it. I'll just skip a bit. I'm going to. This is just a pinprick what I'm telling about this. He makes an apology video to me. Pulls it within 40 minutes. I didn't even see it. I mean, lucky I did see it. What's the chances I wasn't even at my computer screen for that 40 minutes? He pulls it. No reason for it. Then he makes this other video where he threatened everyone for 14 minutes. Then he ends up pulling that as well. What's this guy? He puts videos up, then he pulls them down all the time. But get back to the 100% real stuff.
Keep the personal.
No one can say it's 100% real. He says he's the expert on hoaxes. If it's not his way, it's no one's way. This is the most narcissistic, shit I've ever heard in my life. This guy. I mean, this is why we should have put it through him or others before we put out videos. Can you believe that crap? We should have put it through him. Because he's the godfather of freaking truth movement. Sorry, I do things my way. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. And I think I've been right nearly most of the time. No one has told me anything about my Boston stuff is bullshit. So if I did put a video on this, so be it if it's wrong. But don't go telling people as him, well, we won't even get onto the Max Malone issue. They get in there and saying, oh, we're the big boys. And you know how this is how narcissistic this guy is. People would say Max and I. This guy, every time he talks, he says, me and Max, me and Max. That is a typical way of a bloody egotistical person talks. And,
okay, PK, don't go too far off track, man. No,
all right, sorry.
Don't just make it the whole personal attack. We're trying to minimize that.
Okay, we'll get on to the topic now. Sorry.
Yes, but so look, the point is that I understand your frustration, and some people and many
frustration, mate.
Yeah,
hey, I just want to say, I am getting burnt by all his followers.
Yeah, I know. Let me finish. Let me finish my point, PK. Let me finish my point. That's what I'm saying. I understand because you see, the approach. That's what started the sort of the chaos here. The approach. People weren't agreeing with the approach on both sides. And of course, Free Radio is, he's one of the bigger channels who put out all these videos on TransAsia, and so people were angry. The skeptics also were of course frustrated with that as well, with that approach of putting 100% real. Then just like you said, if it goes both ways, you can't put 100% hoax, you can't put 100% real, especially with the reputation of the corporate media, of the elite, what they're doing to us on a daily, weekly basis with psyops. That's what the mainstream media is. In my opinion, they, 99% never cover real events. That's not their job. They don't cover real events, in my opinion. It's a false, fake reality. It's a fantasy land. So when I see an event that continues as an Asian plane crash, and we have an Asian plane crash or missing plane psyop agenda going on, of course, you should think it's fake. In my opinion, you should think it's fake until proven real. But the thing is, in my opinion, until, in my eyes, we see a plane actually hitting the water, I couldn't believe it. That's just the way I approached, and I still approach that to this moment. But that's just where I'm at.
Exactly. But just back on that CGI video, he was mocking you, mate. Not only mocking you, he was mocking me. And he is virtually telling you and me that we don't do enough research. This is what this guy says, sorry. He says this event does not matter to any one of us. It is that insignificant because it's on the other side of the world. Have you heard anything so ridiculous? I hate to tell him and his followers and the idiots
well,
believe
PK, it's not just him. People do believe that.
I said the rest that believe this is real. Sydney happens to be on the other side of Canada. Is that the other side of the world? Paris is on the other side. Nigerian Mall is on the other side. There's no other side of the world.
Right. But I think, but PK, I think when they say that, and when Free Radio and others say that, I think they're meaning they mean within the context of what does it matter? Because it's just because it's a plane crash. What is the motive
What does
behind it? What is the motive behind a plane crash?
I don't know the motive. It's the method in the madness, mate. What?
No, I know. I'm in agreement
Cannot
with you. PK, I'm in
give
agreement
me a
with you.
few seconds. All right.
I'm just driving a point. I agree with you.
Cannot he connect the dots to the last 6 plane crashes, plane disappearances, all Asian? Cannot he connect the dots? He admits that they are fake hoaxes. Okay. Cannot he connect the dots that this could be connected to that? I mean, all right, maybe not, but can you 100% say that this is not connected to any of this other plane shit? Honestly.
This is the point, yes, and this is the point of the frustration. And yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but let's try to, PK, let's try to minimize the emotion here, okay? Come on, listen.
Okay. I said let's start. Let's do what you want to do.
Here's my thing. Let's get into the motive, okay? Now, it's been my conclusion here that again, these Asian plane psyops. This is not, if this was staged right here, this TransAsia, it's not the first one. This goes all the way back to the SFO plane hoax, which of course, guess what, guys? That combines CGI with a drill, okay? And you, in that event, you had the airplane that belly flopped in that footage, that grainy, distant footage, something wrong, and you know, it belly flopped and all this, and the following damage is not consistent at all with what happened on the video. And so what you have there is a CGI combined with drill. So you have artificial with the fake, with the virtual. We have CGI with real, okay, with a real element there. So that's how they did that. Then you have the MH17, MH370 planes, which are the missing planes, crashing missing planes. Those are hoaxes. It's a hoaxes or false flags. It's debatable. People on both sides, you know, think that could be a hoax or false flag. Whatever the case, it is a psyop. Those were psyops. I think we can agree on that. Correct?
Oh, yeah,
For sure.
And then moving on, we also, about, what was it, 2 months ago, a few months ago or so, we had the AirAsia hoax with the dummy and the planted debris in the water. Now, again, these are proven Asian plane hoaxes, psyops going on. What are the agenda? What is the agenda behind these seemingly pointless staging of these plane crashes? Why would they do this? Why? So we know they did it. We know they have done them. So the question is why? Well, again, there's a method to their madness, as you're alluding to, PK, right? And so it could be for many reasons. There could be a future staged event that they could be gearing towards, conditioning us. So it could be a form of a litmus test, you know, testing our perception. What can we accept as real, pass off as real, pass off as, you know, sufficient plane crashes? Can we accept, you know, planes just going missing, you know, crashing in unbelievable ways, unrealistic ways, you know, CGI? Can we just accept it and swallow it? You know, I mean, I think that's the point. That's why they are doing this. It's for a future, a plan, future false flag, a future agenda.
Say something, Dave.
What do you think?
I was talking with PK earlier, saying that maybe they're just, one of the agendas is just to get us so used to this that we don't care, because, you know, Peter was ready to throw in the towel. He's like, you know, I don't care anymore. I can't take it. And people have such short attention spans that people are bored with this. They, you know,
yeah,
like, it was
exactly.
not. You know, and this is huge. Like, if this happened, you know, 20 years ago, you know, when a plane crash happens, it's huge. There was like a dozen plane crashes in the United States in the last month, you know, and half of them aren't even talked about.
Exactly. I think that's exactly right. I think basically what we have here is a conditioning, right? It's just like you're talking about, and I've mentioned this before, social engineering, and you talk about short attention span, by the way, and I think that many, you know, in the community have forgotten that as well. They forget that there's been plane hoaxes. So, and they keep asking. I keep seeing the question come up: Why do this? Why stage this? Well, I mean, have you guys just forgot about the recent several Asian plane hoaxes / psyops? I mean, I really didn't understand, and I still don't understand. It still is a question being asked. Yes.
These guys that are saying it's real, they all, I mean, sure, they all think there's other ones are hoaxes, and did they ask the question then? What's the motive? Because
Exactly. They didn't. They didn't. Exactly my point. That's exactly.
This is their big push now. This is their big push now because they're on the defence. They say they're debunking all the Russian vids is good stuff and whatever, but their defence is the motive. I don't know the motive of a psychopath. Sorry, and I mean you cannot say all of a sudden do what they're doing and all of a sudden say, oh, this is real because we don't know the motive. Sorry.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. All of these planned psyops, which we know are psyops that have been proven, and some have been covered, MH17, 370 mainly, and by many, and people know that those were staged. And so what were the agenda? What is the agenda? Again, this is the question that comes up. And so if they are staged, so obviously this affects all of us on a global scale. So if TransAsia is staged, it directly affects us, without a doubt. And so I definitely am with you there. I don't understand that notion of not having any effect on us. I believe that is completely illogical.
Yeah, when somebody says they can't imagine a motive, I mean, I can imagine 100 motives for this. There's a New World Order plan that we're all aware of. They're trying to do global government. They're trying to push through Agenda 21. They want us pushed into compact living spaces, and they don't want us to have the ability to travel. So what is a better way than to stop people from traveling, just to make airplane flights seem too dangerous?
Exactly, too dangerous. They can go missing. They can crash unrealistically. I mean, think about it. Think about it.
Guys, just think about it a little bit earlier than that. All these supposed hijacking terrorist plots on planes to put fear into flying. That's how it started, and now they're actually putting these fake crashes. So you combine the two, you wouldn't want to get on the plane in 6 months' time.
I was just on. I took a flight. I took a quick trip down to Florida a couple days ago, and I was kind of nervous going through the airport and getting on the plane. Just not really nervous, but it was like kind of worrying me. But then when I got on the plane and saw that it was a real plane with real passengers, I felt totally safe.
Yeah, and not to mention TSA officers. I mean, would you want to go through that crap? Naked body scans and being touched up?
I did opt out and go for the full molestation, and it was kind of nice. It was nice to be touched.
Oh, sorry.
Kind of nice, okay.
Obviously, he was a gentleman, was he?
Yeah, it was very nice.
Was he a gentleman?
Very thorough, too, let me tell you.
Very thorough.
Very thorough.
Let's hope he had gloves on.
He did.
Now, I want to read an interesting comment from a user from the Clues forum. Now, we were talking about, David, the Clues forum, the September Clues forum. They know about media fakery. Of course, they've exposed media fakery and CGI being used going back to 9/11 in the event. That's what they're most well known for. And I want to read an interesting comment from a user here. I believe it's from the forum. If I'm mistaken, the name is Knapsack with a K. So apologies if that's incorrect if you're not involved with that forum. But his comment is here, guys. It's worrisome that the result of this plane crash is that it has sparked a resentment towards those of us who point to evidence of CGI and Photoshop in examining these psyops. The critical examination of the videos and photos presented in conjunction with these psyops is absolutely crucial to presenting a bulletproof case against the mainstream narrative. In fact, the video and photo evidence is often the only hard evidence we have to declare these things hoaxes. If it becomes taboo to question the authenticity of videos and photos, especially in the age where hyper-realistic CGI is a reality, even in the private sector, the truth movement is absolutely doomed. The very likely reality is that the shadow government holds CGI technology that is basically indistinguishable from real-life video, and the only way to distinguish the two is upon very close examination, and that process is exactly what is being demonized right now, not by you, but by some high-profile people, etc., etc. I couldn't agree more. I mean, think about it. We're going to get into this, but 9/11. Of course, David, featured CGI, media fakery, the clips, mainly the ones that were used over and over again to cement in our minds that the plane crashed into the tower, as we were shown thousands of times over and over and over again every day for, a year, and on the day of the event. Those planes were were fake. Those on the footage, it's CGI. Okay, and this has been proven over and over again. David, we were talking about how the plane impossibly goes into the towers. It's simply impossible, defies physics, defies everything.
Absolutely.
Now, go ahead.
Amazing, I'll let you finish, but amazing that whenever we see a good indication that it could be CGI is when you don't actually see the plane hit. Nobody saw any planes hit on 9/11. They all go behind a horizon, the edge of the building, around the back of the building, and this time over the edge of a bridge. There's no crash that is seen live because you can't do that effectively live. And then also if it was a drill in the river, that could have been done like Christmas morning 5 years ago. There's no date on that. I mean, that could have been anything. There was very little traffic on the highway. That's a pretty big looking city there, and there's barely any cars on it. So I would say it's obviously or most likely a drill at that time and not CGI. What we were seeing in the river there.
Exactly, which is why again people were frustrated with the downplaying of CGI and everything with the video by Free Radio Revolution. Again, I'm just bringing up the point. That's what caused the frustration. But I think that so again, if this is staged, guys, then this is extremely important. I mean, think about it. Now they can create fake realities and are gearing towards something absolutely huge. You know, we need to be open on this so we can have our guard up for future possible events involving the use of these techniques, which are leaps and bounds beyond comprehension of the progress that has been made in the technology that they possess from 9/11. If they can fool millions of people with the CGI and media fakery on 9/11, think about where they are now, almost 15 years later, guys. I mean, it's just laughable.
I'll just throw this one out. I just thought of it. What about a fake alien crash on somewhere, like a UFO spaceship? I mean.
Well, Peter, I don't know if you're aware, but that's are you talking about Project Bluebeam? Because that's what Project Bluebeam is all about.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, they could use CGI.
Well, that's exactly right. That's what this all ties into as well as Project Bluebeam, because eventually they're going to pull that card out and create a fake light show, and somehow everyone's going to believe it. I mean, you know, who knows how they're going to do it, but that's the technology. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind.
They're programming us with all of their movies. I just went and saw the new documentary Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's these Wachowski brothers, when they made The Matrix, they kind of knew something. You know, I always call that movie a documentary. This one is programming everybody. You know, it shows that there is a higher order of extraterrestrials throughout the universe, and they're using the message in the movie, which I don't believe is a true message, is that they're using Earth to harvest people to use the light in their bodies to extend life. You know, the most precious resource in the universe is time, and they're harvesting the humans. So basically, they're programming everybody that, hey, if there ever is an extraterrestrial attack on Earth, real or fake, you should be afraid and ask the government to protect you.
Oh my goodness, that's a great point, man. Isn't it quite insane, man? And also, I want to point out the fact that 9/11 to 2015, technology-wise, 15 years later, that's like 50 years for them. I mean, can you imagine what they can do as far as with the media? So this is the way I approach it, guys. If the plane didn't crash in my damn backyard and I couldn't inspect it, before anyone else, that's the only way I'm going to ever believe this event like this is real. That's just how I am. Am I so sue me. That's just how I feel.
Look, guys, if you're going to do something like this, the best place on the planet would be in an Asian city where, the Asians.
Well, that's why they're doing. That's why it's only. That's why they started this Asian plane psyop. That's why they're doing this and only using Asian planes. PK.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get involved too much because I might put up a video if I get time over the next coming months. But I agree wholeheartedly. It's CGI one part, a drill on the other part. And for the CGI to work, we had to somehow have this plane in the middle of a river. So they had to focus this CGI to go over a bridge. The odds of hitting the side, the car, like trillions to one, to land in the middle of a river. I mean, to land in the middle of a river doesn't matter. Forget about all the other stuff. You got to fly through the buildings, whatever. It's a trillion to one to land that plane smack bang in the middle of a sewerage farm. I mean,
if you also look at if you look at the angle that the plane was coming down, there's no way it would have hit the ground. It wasn't aimed for the middle of the river, not even close. If you follow the trajectory of that plane when the wing hits that car and hits the side of the bridge, it was doing cartwheels down on the grass. There's no wreckage there. There's no dents. It's out in the middle of the river, and then people are just standing there uninjured. It's unfathomable.
Yes. Now, hold on. Before we get more hold on.
Okay.
Before we get continue with the details of the site of the TransAsia scene itself, David, we were talking about just to go on more and hammer the point in here about the planes on 9/11. Just for anyone doubting, now let's clarify the fact that people will question. Well, wait, are you saying no planes? Well, let's clear this up. So, of course, we know, David, that this is proven. This plane should have crashed into the plane like this. If you're seeing my screen, there should have been debris coming off the building as such. Can you see my screen?
I only see a jet engine.
Huh?
All I see is a jet engine that's been up there for a while.
Yeah, that's all I see.
Yeah. You got to unshare whatever you were sharing earlier.
Oh, really? Wow, that's crazy. Okay, how about now?
No good, my friend.
Still jet engine?
Yeah.
What the heck? You know what? Let me try something here.
Now it's gone.
Okay, let me try it again. How about now?
There you go. Now I see a blank window.
A blank window?
A blank. Oh, it looks like your movie editor.
Oh, you know what? The video is not showing for some reason. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. I'll figure out another.
There you go. Now I see a plane heading for the building.
Oh, there it is. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that, guys. Now, the plane should have. We should have seen debris bounce off the building, as you say, David. What do you think? What's your opinion on this?
So there was if you follow I forget the guy, Richard C. Hall, I think it is, that did the actual radar tracks, and a radar track that shows something flying by the building 1,800 feet to the south. And I've interviewed a lot of people that were in Manhattan that say they saw an airplane, and when you they say they saw an airplane hit the building, but when you actually talk to them, they say, well, I heard an airplane, and I looked away, and then I looked back and I saw an explosion. And the reason that is because whatever it was flying behind them. They turned to look what that was, and then that's when the explosion happened on the building. So a plane didn't hit the building. Maybe a missile did. Maybe something else did. That's not the discussion here. But they all admit that they didn't see it. But then there was people that say they saw a plane hit the building. Those people were across the Hudson River in I think it's Toms River, New Jersey, which had the best view. I'm not sure if that was the town or not. But from there, you wouldn't have to look. The sound and the image are so far away that you wouldn't realize that they're separate, and you would be able to see the airplane and not realize that they're separate. So from that point of view, they saw some sort of three-dimensional video projection. There is unclassified military documents that they use projected 3D aircraft to confuse the enemy, and that's from 15 years ago.
People don't understand that technology.
Wait, that's what they admit now. There are people say they're 20, 30, 40 years. They're probably 150 years ahead of that.
Exactly.
I mean, they don't share any of this with us.
Exactly, and what we do see, of course, is always that rule of thumb is always 30, 40, 50 years in advance in the shadows with what they really possess.
Correct.
So, exactly, my friend. And this is the thing that, and I told you behind the scenes, I was saying that, this is, an aspect of 9/11 that is really kind of taboo to talk about. A lot of people don't know about it. It's been overlooked. It's been underreported. But here's the bottom line truth. It is the absolute truth. This video of you're seeing right here, the plane going in the tower, is pure cartoon. All right, it's just fantasy land. Now. And the technology, and look, the way I see it on no planes, it doesn't matter. The point is, we know that this was fake. We know the media was complicit, media fakery. The media posed their fake witnesses on the ground, crisis actors, the whole nine. The media was involved. It was a big media psyop. So there's that aspect to it. And the technology-wise, I always lean towards maybe it could be drones. It was some projectiles. But you know what? The no plane theory and the fact that another technology, as you alluded to, is not far-fetched. And a couple of years ago it might have been, but people need to understand that that is completely within the realm of possibility, and it's far from far-fetched.
Jeff, I want to share a picture. Just one quick picture we looked up before.
Yep.
This is can you guys see this? This is a picture of the building where the plane hit. The wingtips span 8 floors. So not only would they have to get through the steel beams on the outside, which a lot of people say weren't structural, but they were, it has to get through these horizontal steel reinforced concrete slabs. And this hole that we see in the building, you couldn't fit a Cessna through there. Okay? And we're supposed to believe this fragile airplane, and airplanes are fragile. If you ever seen a bird hit an airplane, it almost destroys it. This sliced into the building and not a single piece fell out.
Exactly.
BS.
Sorry.
BS. And even if it did, 50 feet in are the core columns, right? Which are these gigantic steel beams. The plane was over 100 feet long, so half the plane should be sticking out if it could magically slice through steel and concrete. I mean, it's impossible. So the point is, it didn't go through. A plane can't go through. Therefore, a plane didn't hit. Period.
Right.
Looks real to me.
Shut it, PK.
Sorry.
Exactly. And folks, just a reminder, the reason we're talking about this is because we want to drive home the point that 100%, 100,010%, 9/11 footage here is CGI fakery, as well as other techniques used, media fakery. And so if that happened, you understand that, then you understand the progression. I just want to drive home the point of the progression of the technology they possess to be able to create simulated realities, fake realities. Now it's 2015, PK, so they can do unimaginable things we can't even comprehend.
Even I understand that.
Yeah.
I read Piotr just on the side. We thought we'd only be the three of us talking and listening to this. We've got 110 watching this. How come no one's making comments or in chat? What's it going on?
Is it not working?
There's no comments that I can see, but there's 110 watching.
Let me
No
double
chat
check.
either.
Yeah, let me double check here.
113. Oh, God, it's fine.
Nothing works. Nothing works here. I'll try to figure out what's the deal. I'm sorry, it's my first time. And I mean, I don't normally put podcasts up here. And let me check here.
It says chat is disabled for this event.
We're afraid that people are going to say mean things to us, so we disabled the chat.
Let me try to put this chat then. Here.
But Dave, I mean, we put ourselves out there, and we're open for attack.
You know what? Here's the thing.
I don't want to cry about it. If someone attacks me, so be it. But I don't want to cry to everyone and say I'm being attacked.
I hope somebody makes a Hitler video of me, because those are my favorite videos of all time. When people do those effectively, that is some funny stuff.
Dave, I've been collecting those Hitler things for the last 5-6 years. I've got a complete file of them.
They're fantastic.
I got to say, this one, I don't care about the subject. The way that was put was hilarious. And I was the first to comment. And I said, LOL, effing brilliant. And boy, that started some shit. Can't I say something is brilliant?
Listen, if you can't laugh at yourself, there's a huge issue here.
We've got a problem, mate. You got a problem if you can't see that wasn't funny.
Listen, when I started talking,
if that was meant to be me, I'd still laugh my head off and say, "Well done, whoever put this up." Right. I got a sense of humour. If you can't have a sense of, if you can't see that's funny, there is something wrong with you.
when I when
Honestly.
I when I started doing Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole podcast, the subjects I were bringing up, people just couldn't handle it, and I would alienate people. But the thing is, I'm not here for a popularity contest. I'm here to talk about the truth. And now people are turning. People are waking up. People love hearing about the big three, exposing the big three. Go to check it out on Facebook. Just Sandy Hook, Boston bombing, and 9/11, all articles and videos compiled there so you can easily share them with friends and help wake up your sleeping friends and family. That's my goal.
Dave, in the long run, you, me, Jeff C, Max Malone, Red Pill, you name it, we ain't going to make any friggin' difference to the changing of this world.
See,
no
that's
matter
where
what
I
we think.
disagree with you. I disagree, PK.
Now, hold on, PK. Hold on.
I disagree.
All
I was waking up one person at a time with my one of my podcast hosts, Tim, before we had the podcast. Then we got the podcast. Now we're waking up tens of thousands, and you guys are doing the same thing. PK, your videos have woken up so many people that it's gonna hit a tipping point. We don't have to reach half the population. We don't have to reach a couple of percent, 1 or 2%, and then it's like the 100th monkey. It's gonna tip. And when people wake up, that's when the shit's going to hit the fan.
David, I thought that until this last week, because we got this thing called the truther movement, and I class as these truthers, are smart people. But what's happened this last week is the division, so-called division, and you can see that half of these people, whether we're on the hoaxer side, you want to call them, or the real side, half of these people are brain dead. Which I'm not going to take sides. I know on one side, half of them aren't smart.
Here's the good news.
That's a problem.
So December 21st, 2012 was the apocalypse. People don't realize that. And what the apocalypse is the lifting of the veil. It's lifted. People are waking up faster and faster right now. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I couldn't have any of these conversations with people. Now I can go up to strangers and start a conversation, and people are open to it, and they're waking up. Even the most asleep people are scratching their heads because of people like you, like Jeff C, like Red Pill, like everybody. We've planted seeds. Alex Jones planted a ton of seeds. I'm not a huge fan of Alex Jones, but I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I hate that phrase, by the way.
Exactly.
But he puts out some good stories sometimes. He is partially responsible for waking me up. So if he's a shill, if he's a government plant, that's some shitty government spending there. They need 100 more. They should hire 100 more of him.
Wait, if who's a shill?
If Alex Jones is a shill.
Oh, but dude, he recently though he came out with he teamed up with the mainstream media, demonizing us and downplaying. Of course, he covered up for the Paris hoax, which was a complete hoax. Well, and listen. I think that many people find that to be absolutely repulsive, and that's.
I do also. All I'm saying is sometimes they have a segment. I don't listen to Alex Jones, but somebody will say, "Hey, check out this report they did." I listened to just that report. Hey, that's good. I'll take it.
Well, of course, we talk about, which is the point that we're also trying to drive is, listen to all, follow none. You still got to say subscribe even to the shills, even if you think they're shills. So
right, and by the way, I'm not throwing out all of Jeff's videos. I just don't agree with him on this plane crash.
Right. And I noticed the tension, of course, between you guys as well in the comments. And again, this is something that. It's very frustrating, and that's why I went on the podcast. I went on the other podcast yesterday, and things got pretty heated. And this is the thing here. No matter what, there's going to be two sides to this event moving forward. So we need to just accept that. I myself included. I'm never going to believe this is a real event with the evidence here and just what I feel with regards to the media fakery and what they're capable of. So if that makes me a shill, if that makes me, stupid and this, that, hey, then so be it, But this is the problem. This is the thing. On both sides, people are calling each other shills and idiots and this and, this, that, and the other because of this event. So that's the big thing.
People accuse me. Hold on, Peter. People accuse me of, hey, I have an agenda that everything is a hoax. Everything is a false flag, and that is not my agenda. My goal is to like, all right, this looks like a false flag. Let me find a reason that it's not. That's the angle I go in at. And the farther I go down the rabbit hole on this plane, it's ridiculous. Like Max Malone made a video, I think it's Max made it, and then Jeff reposted it, of the helicopter showing debris a mile down the river.
Dave, can we just get back to that because I want to get involved, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
So let's get into the footage. Yeah, go ahead, Peter.
Just quickly.
Yeah.
This shield word, it's just driving me friggin' mental. I never called anyone a shield. You never called anyone a shield. Dave never called anyone a shield. No one that I know called anyone a shield, especially the guy, Jeff C. And yet, he's making 11, 12 videos saying he's been attacked, being called shield, shield, shield. Like I said before, we're open. We put ourselves out there. I mean, if you've been called a shield over the years, you're going to cop that. But don't just bring up this attack, because I haven't attacked him. None of you guys have attacked him. You put out one video. David hasn't even put out a video. I don't even think anyone's attacked this guy. There could be idiots that I don't even know who they are. That's his business to deal with them. Don't go relating me, Red Pill, David, anyone else to him being attacked by calling him a shill. Because from day one till now, I have never called this guy a shill, and I never will, because I hate that term. And as far as Alex Jones goes, he woke me up. I would not be here if it wasn't for Alex Jones. I turned his Prison Planet on show every morning. Was the first thing. That's the only thing I listened to for hours.
Yeah,
and I'm not the only one that's going to say this. I've heard so many people say this, and this brings us back to Russian vids. You don't have to like the guy, but you just pick out your info from him, others, and you combine it to how you feel. I mean, I don't give a stuff if Russian Bill Vids thinks that Alex Jones is Bill Hicks. Who cares about that?
Yeah, that's exactly my point. I'm like, you know what? Even though me and Russian Vids, we absolutely, let me tell you, PK, me and him went at it. I mean, I went at this dude. I hated him. Every time he would comment, I would just absolutely destroy him in the comments, because he actually had a issue with, he had a conflict with Team Wake 'em Up, Red Silver J, and I was getting, I was supporting Red Silver J, and I said, look, you can't attack him, and I just went at it with him. Okay, for this went on for many months, and we said absolutely disgusting things to each other in the past. Me and Russian Vids. Do I use, have I gotten over that, or do I use that to affect my judgment and the pursuit of truth? No, I'm worried about the truth. That's all I care about, and so I agree with him on the event at hand, the issue at hand, and I disregarded our past, conflicts and our past disagreements.
That's how it should be.
That's how it should be, and that's all that matters.
No one can call him a shield. We can't call him a shield. I won't call him a shield. And people out there, stop calling people shields, for God's sake. Do you think he's wasting his time trying to expose this Asia thing because he's a shield? Do you think Red Pill's Jeff has done all this great work, and I admit he's done great work. I've complimented him on all his work. I will never call him a shield, but I don't know what his mentality is at the moment. But I don't want to call anyone a shield. I want to call out trolls who attack us, making ridiculous, absurd comments, and we know they are sick trolls. That's all I want to attack. I will not abuse any truther. We are all in it together. And have your personal conflicts between yourselves, but don't call everyone out a shield.
It's not about personal, and I don't care about any other thing going on. It's just the issue at hand, and that's all I care about. So I agree, Peter. Let's move on. Let's continue with the TransAsia, the scene there, the river. Did you want to mention something there as a point of the?
I do. I think this is very crucial to our argument, and it's only come out in the last 2 days. There's been talk about there's no jet fuel in the water. If you're going to pull off this hoax or drill, if you're going to put a plane in there, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say we're going to put some jet fuel in there as well, okay? So obviously they're going to put that in. This helicopter thing comes, that's a question. That helicopter was there within minutes. We didn't see it for the rest of the day or any others. If these people wanted to be rescued as quick as you can, you'd have helicopters rescuing people there straight away and take them straight to the hospital. That's another issue. This helicopter's flying down that river, and we see it looks like oil. It could be oil because it's a sewage farm. It could be shallow water. We know it's 2.5 foot deep virtually the whole way. There's little red things floating there. Oh, sorry, white specks. There's no bodies, white specks. This, we are told, is a mile apart from the crash. We go right up to the crash. We have a look. Not sure if there's those 11 people there. It's hard to tell. But there's no one on the bank. There's no one there. We look at the traffic going in that direction where the cam cars were going. We see cars, at least 6, on either side of the lane. There's two lanes. We see them going either way. We do not see a cab there. We do not see a cab anywhere because within minutes of that cab stopping, we see cars slowly going around it on the right-hand side of it. But the traffic is going. Where is the cab? So the fact is this, I don't know the time frame, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. 10 minutes, are you telling me that luggage and oil have gone down a sewerage farm 1 mile? 1 mile in 5 or 10 minutes?
And the bodies traveling.
I'll get on the bodies. But do you notice, Red Pill, when they have, there's images galore of guys, rescue workers holding arms stretched across the river. They are working in a radius, distance of about 10, 20 metres maximum. Why are they only in that area when we know that bodies have floated 1 mile in 10 minutes? We should be, that, going by that, those bodies would be friggin' floating down the Amazon River at that pace.
That's exactly right. People notice that. It's a good point because people notice also.
But hang on, Red Pill.
No,
this was a video someone put out, said 100% debunked, bodies, luggages, oil found. And it's another. He said it again. 100% debunked. So how many times is this guy going to put up this 100% garbage? Well, I just picked it out straight away.
All right,
how many points did I just point out?
We know that point. Let's keep the attacks to a minimum, please. But
All right.
Let me just say that PK, that point is a good point because the river, people were pointing out, and I want to get this from you, David, but people were pointing out the river here. The current doesn't seem consistent with that, with what we're seeing here, with bodies being able to be the distance. The current doesn't seem that strong. It's non-existent, really, if any, non-existent or very very weak, if anything. So, David, I know you made a comment on this. So, what is your take on this whole?
I'm saying on that video, the video started with a scene very late in the day, right there. That has tons of boats, there's a flotilla going on. This is obviously hours into the event, when all of these, I don't know where all these rafts came from. There's like 50 of them. But the helicopter footage, there's 0 rafts, okay? So that happened within 10 minutes, and then we're supposed to believe that there's a slick of oil and bodies a mile down the river. Right there, you see it. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. And then also, if you look carefully at the road, this is an airplane crash. All evidence should be inspected, unless it's, of course, the 9/11. The car, the taxi van that got hit, is not on the road anymore. It's gone. What happened to that? They don't just tow it away. There's going to be an investigation. That car is going to sit there for 20 hours probably.
Yeah, and people, I heard people were going on about the passenger of the taxi, that it can't be confirmed that the passenger was there was a passenger ever in the car. I can't confirm this, but if there's anyone that can confirm this, or it has been, fair enough. I'm just saying for at this moment in time, people are questioning whether there was actually a passenger in the taxi, and of course that's completely understandable, as there's other fabrications within this event proven, particularly involving the survivors. I'll get to that in a minute. But now, David, we were talking about the debris here, and the fact, PK.
Yeah, but if there's debris a mile down, why isn't there all this debris, in between all that, in that mile? Was it just a couple of white specks, and that's supposed to be it?
Yeah, I want to.
I want to point something else that is important. If you go back to where the plane is, there's one thing that no one has pointed out in all this thing.
What's that?
Yeah, keep going a little bit. I want to see the other part. Right there. Hang on, get it back. I want to see the other part of the plane that's broken off. Keep moving it. It's right down the foreground. There, stop there. This is how many hours after you got a million people still farting around with that plane. We've got all the rescued people out. Not one single person. You got rafts everywhere. And you got all those people on the grass. Not one single person for hours has even gone near that. What do you want to call it? The cockpit part of the plane. I'm sorry, but there could be people in there as well. You know, not one person is concentrated on that part. Someone explain to me what are all those idiots. I mean, there's other photos. There's rafts on the other side, like they're suffocating this plane. No one goes near that part for hours, and it's on the live footage.
Right.
Exactly.
What's with the tents? What's with the tents on the other side? Are they selling hamburgers and souvenirs? This is a rescue, buddy. It's not a porta potty, is it?
David,
There's another thing I want to tell you. All right, sorry.
Go ahead. Finish your point if you're finishing up, PK. And then
It's a bad angle, but I dare anyone go through all the footage and show me on the other side of this river. I mean, we look at it the wrong way. Don't worry about this vision. Show me if there's any people on the other side of this river, because I do not see a single person the whole time for the whole 10, 11 hours that I went through this. Anyone on the other side of the river, there are houses, there are roads, it's no different to the other side. If I saw this, I'd be geeking like you wouldn't believe. There'd be thousands lined up on the other side. Someone point me out any people on the other side, maybe one or two, if you're going to say that's one or two. Show me the crowd on the other side of the river. So that points to the, we showed before, the fake, two different types of the building, if you want to put that up, two different building sites. It could have been green screen. Who knows where it could have been done?
exactly.
Where's
And
the people on the other side?
exactly. As we pointed out, very possible within the media fakery, the media fakery department.
Hey,
Now, David. Yes.
I just want to point out Tony has joined the chat and might have a couple things to jump in. So Tony, feel free to jump in at any point.
Tony, welcome, sir.
Hey,
Thank you
guys.
for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Tony Mead of
Never
Sandy Hook Hoax Group. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for having me here.
You got the floor, mate.
Hey, I just wanted to bring up one thing. We were watching videos. Whenever you see them take out a dead body, they've already wrapped it in a white tarp in the river, right? As they're pulling them out of the plane, they're already wrapped in white tarps. There's one video where they blurred it out where you can't even tell if they have a body, but they're wrapping everybody in white tarps in the river. That just doesn't happen.
Right, exactly. I want to point, David, I want to make one point, and then Tony, I'm going to give it over to you, brother, but let me mention this here. This is a great comment made by Mia Rianne, and it brings up the actual debris, okay, and the physics of the crash, and how the survivors in general is just inconsistent with the crash we have here. So let me read it here. There is no video that I know of that shows how the plane got in the water. It's assumed it crashed, but that's how Hollywood and magic trick people. They want you to assume the next step without actually seeing it. The first pictures we see are with a bunch of survivors standing outside the plane. That couldn't have happened in a few seconds. Those people either came out of the plane or they were thrown from the plane on impact. If they were thrown from the plane, we have to assume there would be broken necks, fractures, etc. from hitting the water at 130 plus miles per hour. Now, if they came out of the plane themselves, then where is the footage of that? We see rescuers dragging people out of the door of the plane, but we don't see any info as to how that large group of people got outside the plane. The damage to them is also not realistic with that type of impact, of course, because if you have a plane going that fast, crashing into such a shallow river, that's pretty much, guys, I mean, I don't know if you disagree, but I think it's pretty much like hitting concrete. And they all should be, you know, this is unrealistic that they'll be just standing there like this, no injuries, let alone, you know, I mean, being able to survive this. I doubt there would be any survivors. It's just miraculous. Then you have the fabrication of the super baby, with the absolute bullshit lie of this baby being underwater. Okay, listen to this, folks. This is what nailed it for me. And if they're gonna lie about this, then they lie about it all, folks. This is the mainstream media here, the corporate.
Children and animals. They get your heart with children and animals.
Yes. Now the baby, in and of itself, people were saying, how can this baby survive? How can these people be surviving? Well, then they add this baby story where the dad supposedly instinctively, without knowing how to do CPR, resuscitated this baby, 1-year-old baby, underwater for 3 minutes, saved his life, gave him CPR, even though he doesn't know how to, and brought him back to life. And of course, in this sewage-infested water, we have this water, guys, is absolutely disgusting, filled with shit, raw sewage, and pollution from illegal industry. This is straight from the article.
Impossible the guy could see anything.
And also, add to that, of course, the main point is the baby, his behavior and his behavior following, and just the whole time of the footage is completely inconsistent with that ever happening in a million years. So that story is complete bullshit. And if they're gonna lie about that, I'm not gonna buy anything.
But you know what's Red Pill? What they're coming back with that? They're saying, oh no, we don't believe that either, because it's the media that's bullshitting. So they're using reverse psychology on us saying that it's bullshit. They say, oh yeah, don't believe the media, it's bullshit. But the media lies all the time. So why would the media lie on a true event? This goes with the passenger in the cab as well.
Exactly, my friend, exactly.
They would not lie on the real event. They've got interviews of the old guy in the hospital, so that cannot be a lie. If you've seen the interview with the old guy, he said, this guy's 78 or 80, he was diving, rescuing people who were drowning. This guy is standing in I call it the cesspool of idiots, like the Boston idiots. He's standing amongst them, and you know that bit about the oar. We won't even get onto that, how laughable that is. This guy was diving and rescuing people. I'll just get on. The most pitiful actor of all those idiots there, because that's all they are, is the mother of this child. The mother of this child is standing behind the father. I mean, God, the father has just spent 3 minutes underwater saving this baby, and he's holding this baby's arm, and the mother is just behind, not giving a damn about anything. You don't see her even motion anything. She'd be the first one to hold that baby, but it gets even more ridiculous when that raft finally comes in the third time after all this farting around with. I mean, I'll tell you something before I go on. All right, they're standing in 2 feet of water. You know when they dropped off those 2 swimmers, like they didn't drop them off right to the idiots there. They dropped them off right at the end of the tail, 20 feet away, because it's all TV, it's all show, mate. They're swimming in 2 feet of water, like making 100 strokes per second, even when they're 2 feet away from the woman. I heard that someone, I won't mention his name, he's an idiot. He'll probably, if he's listening to this, he knows who he is. He said the reason that they don't walk to the shore or those swimmers swam is because of the sharp and jagged edges of plane wreckage. Can you friggin' believe an imbecile would say that? And he's an imbecile who says it's real. They would not walk because, for starters, those guys who are swimming, you think they've got their Speedos on and barefooted? No. But we'll just get back to the mother and the father. The first raft comes in. If I was a mother and a father of a 1-year-old child, do you think I'd hand it over to some rescue guy in a dinghy with 3 other people, the fittest people there, mind you, not the oldest, the 3 fittest, with you hand them over to your baby and say, ta-da, while we wait here, who knows when we're coming. They rush this baby on the shore and throw it in an ambulance, see you later, and leaving the mother and father there. The mother would be hysterical. And that's just another thing. Not one of those people is showing any sort of emotion. And people don't come up with this shock garbage. I mean, I've had enough of Jeff Bowman's garbage.
The reason they didn't react is because they're all from Sandy Hook.
Oh, okay, Dave. But what Mia Rain said was absolutely true. The footage starts off, the footage I've seen, starts off on a children's cooking show or something. And without warning, it's just goes straight to this. And who are the first people they show? These idiots standing. They're not standing on a wing. They're not standing on a platform. Who bought this platform garbage yet? They're standing on the mud, a sewage farm. I call it a sewage farm. They're standing on that. And how they got there, we don't see any footage of how they got there. And people say, how could you plant this plane in a 2 million city? You can do it overnight. The Asians wouldn't even know what's going on. It could have been done, like Dave said, last Christmas. We don't know. But
or 5 years ago. Also, by their standing there...
I'll finish off, Dave. They take away the child and 3 people. We see him on shore. One guy is absolutely healthy. I mean, surely this guy is not an idiot. He'd let the old man first, or the child. Yeah, okay.
PK.
No, I'll just finish off. But for the rest of the live supposed footage, I'll tell you, this is supposed to be live. We do not see the rest of the 8 or 9 people taken ashore. Anyone that's got, call anyone out there who has got footage of those people taken away, please put it on the net. Not that it's going to prove anything different, but if this is live footage, why would they not show us that? That is very important. We want to see them all rescued. Why would they not show that on live footage? The live footage is garbage as it is. It just revolves around the same. They go about that's like that first part 3 times, then they go back and forth. It's like it's not even live. It's like it's recorded. That's what I mean.
Exactly. PK, let me send it over to David, and then I'm going to finish up one last point on the CPR, and then give it over to Tony. What do you have to say, David?
I just want to say that those people are standing there, and the door to the plane is closed. Right? There's no other exposed area of the plane where they could have possibly gotten out. The door's closed. Later the door is open, and then later the door is closed. I mean, once the door's open, why would they ever close it, for one thing? So there was no way that these people got out. The other thing is that they have blood dripping down their face. Well, what do you do when you have blood dripping down your face? You put your hand on your face and you wipe your face off. They don't touch their face once because it's makeup, and that's it. Right. They don't want to ruin it.
I can agree with that, man. I mean, that's all we have here. It's just dabs of blood on their face. Now, guys, let me finish up the CPR, ridiculous CPR story here, and finish it with this little tidbit from CNN here. Okay, listen in, guys. Mute your mics if you can.
This toddler somehow survived. He was pulled from the wreckage and
this toddler somehow survived, guys.
Placed into the arms of a rescuer in a boat.
A child has several advantages in a crash environment. Their bones are more pliable, so they can withstand higher forces, without fracture.
On land.
So the entire time, the baby looks like he just woke up from a nap. Completely inconsistent with that kind of story ever being true in a million years. It's not based
pretty dry, also.
Whatsoever. Yeah, well, people say that can be explained away. We don't know if that's true or not. But I disregard that because just everything else is enough. Okay, enough to know it's all bullshit. Now,
but Red Pill, just PK, the blood on the faces. What are the odds of everyone just having a blood nose without any injury or mark on the rest of their bodies? What is the odds of 4 or 5 having blood noses and that's it, and a little bit of maybe a scratch on their forehead? What is the odds of that?
Look at the baby. He just woke up from a nap. That is the look that he has on his face the entire time.
Does he look purple? He's supposedly
a break.
Purple.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, and people want to brush it off, and people don't want to question this because they're dead set on believing this is real. But guys, we need to be open on this being staged. I mean, it's completely possible, and it's not crazy. It is not crazy to think this is a hoax or fake or staged. All right, that's my point. Now, again, we can all disagree, but I think that we just don't want to be mocked, skeptics of this event. That's all. But Tony Mead, we want to give it to you. What is your take on this, brother? On all this?
He just failed. He had to run out for a second.
Oh, he did?
but he did say in the chat, he said, I could listen to PK all night.
Okay, well, anyways, I think you guys agree with me, right?
Guys, what is the odds that no one could possibly film this, like you say, from park your car, your cam, your mobile phones, everyone's got them, that you could not see the first, 10, 20 minutes or whatever of those people, how they got out of that plane. Because like you said, Dave, that door is closed. There's no way known. When they pull that supposed plane out, it's absolutely mangled. There's stuff everywhere. It doesn't even... The way that plane is mangled when they pull it out, there's no way there'd be that separation. Like you said, that plane hits the water. How the hell does that split like that in the way it did and be 20 feet, 30 feet apart? Impossible. Maybe it would on concrete, but in water where it virtually, it stopped. It stopped in the middle of the water. How does one separate from the other 30 feet apart? Infreaking possible.
Hey, Red Pill, go back to the original thing that tipped people off, which was the light post appearing to go through the airplane. What the heck is going on here? And then the explanation was video compression, light colors. I mean, do you buy that, or do you think that was...
Well, no, I think that, look, if I believe, let me put it this way: if I believe the event was real, and if there's, if there's no question for me that it was real, and there's no inconsistencies and all of these oddities, then yes, I would say that's completely explainable and that makes sense. But since that's not the conclusion I've come to, and there's evidence and questions here, then no, I'm going to say there's some validity to the anomalies there, and that the compression does not explain it in my eyes. It does not debunk it. I think that it does explain why we see those anomalies there, because we think it's fake, right?
So guys, I'm just going to put on my questioning hat. Listen if you agree with this. We got this plane that's gliding through buildings because we see the guy on the rooftop. He sees it and he runs around, because it's amazing. He's seen this plane. It glides within 50, I don't know, meters from the bridge, and all of a sudden, look, if you were going to sell a CGI hoax with a plane, imagine that plane just flying over the bridge and disappearing. It has no effect on anyone because we don't even see it crash. So they had to turn it at 90 degrees. Why did this plane all of a sudden turn at 90 degrees? It's not a coincidence because it's all part of the CGI fakery. What are the odds of that plane missing that first wall by a foot? What are the odds of that plane just clipping that car? You'll see footage of the car. This will all come up if I do a video. It just clips the top of the car. The radiator, whatever you call it, doesn't blow up. It clips the side of the front of the car. What are the odds of it just clipping the road? At a trillions of gazillion to one. And what are the odds of then landing in the middle of a river like it did? I mean, it's just astronomical. But that's how they had to sell it. You could not just fly a plane. And the way they did it, they had to make it on a road that was 20 meters up in the air, because if you put it on a plain road or a highway, you would see the plane crash on the other side. And they had to account for that plane crashing. They would have to do amazing CGI footage, however. But this way, they make it fly over, and that's the last you see. And it's put in our subconscious mind that it has landed in the river, as Mia said. That's how it works. CGI, drill, put them together, hoax.
Exactamundo, my friend, exactly. And that's the point here.
Sorry, but we're told that it's 100% real.
Hey, PK, stop interrupting me. All right. hey, PK, shut up. I'm going to give you what you gave me on that podcast.
I'll get Mia on to you. Remember Mia? Just a story. Remember Mia? Just 1 second of this, because it's bugging me. Someone put me on Max's show to watch Max's show. Was it last night? She's come out of the blue. I haven't seen her for 8 weeks. Remember I went on We'll Do It Live, and she was on, and she talks a bit. Good on her. I want to do my little piece. That was fine. I jokingly said, "Shut up, Mia," and everyone laughed. And it was cool. I thought it was cool. I never seen her again. She comes on Max's show last night and says, "I threw her under the bus." Can you believe it? She said I threw her under the bus.
Well, she's talking about a separate issue. She told me something about next week that happened, but let's not talk about that. That doesn't matter.
That was just a quick.
It doesn't matter.
Sorry,
but listen. What was I saying? Let's talk about this, guys. The fact that let's talk about this other issue here with regards to the the woman in black and white stripes that they used to sort of give the impression that this was the grief we see for TransAsia, even though we know that it wasn't, they weren't implying that it was a woman involved with the event. It's all about the manipulation, and I think there's another point. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, how about now?
There you go.
Cool.
Yep.
Now, David, I don't know if you're familiar with this whole. Well, yeah, you guys are familiar, right?
Yep.
Of course.
Sorry, I don't want to. I was going to start a video exactly with this.
Yeah.
Because this is the way CNN put it. They smartly said this is how people react to.
Yeah, I'll play it, PK. I'll play it.
Okay. Do it, mate.
Now, keep in mind, I think this is absolute BS. Okay, this girl is fake wailing. It's completely. She's a crisis actor. That's my opinion. Let's start it.
This is what grief.
And she actually looks at the camera and makes eye contact as well. It's a circus. You see the media all around her. It's a circus. This is an act. Okay. Now this is supposedly from an old plane, Taiwan plane crash last year. So let me play it again. Sorry.
This is what grief over losing family in a plane crash looks like. TransAsia Flight 235.
And then they use it to transition. Now, here's the point. People are saying that doesn't prove anything. Yes, the point. Here's the main point, though. Why do they have to use grief from this fake crisis actor from an old event, and why not use current grief? Why do they have to use old fake grief? Do you see how the manipulation and the deception piles on with TransAsia? Do you see?
Red Pill, that's exactly what I was going to put in my... I might have made a comment about it. That's how I was going to start my video.
Yeah.
Exactly. They have used a footage from 7 months ago, even though they don't actually say this is current, but in the subconscious mind for 90% of people, they will see that as current. That,
exactly.
I mean, 95%, whatever. You know what we're talking about. The smart people will know. And for people on the real side to come out and say, attack, no one in the right mind would say that this woman was in both events, as they're stipulating. They're saying that we are saying that this woman was used in both events. Only a moron would think that, and don't even insult our intelligence by saying that. We're saying, why does CNN have? I mean, why are we talking about this? CNN's talking about it. That should be case closed and affiliated with TVBS. What's
TVBS, in my opinion, they're just laughing at it. TV bullshit? Exactly. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, people? TVBS.
Okay.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm just in the twilight zone here.
This was planted in the subconscious mind. This is tragic. Use the current event, BBC. I'm sure there would have been the same people. Would have been, you know, this would have been the next day or that night, whatever. You would have caught, as you said, that woman is acting. I don't know what happened 7 months ago. But please don't give us and tell us that we think that they're from the same woman used in both events. For God's sake!
Where are the families now? Where are all the crying, screaming families? Where are the lawsuits? Where are they? Have we heard from any of them?
I don't believe so. But if they have, fair enough. I haven't myself. I just got a message from. Can you guys see my screen here? Okay, good.
There's still no comments on the show, is there?
There's a chat room now, guys. It works. PK.
It's just disabled. Oh, okay.
Just in case. I should have mentioned this a long time ago. Refresh your pages if anyone was listening and the comments weren't working before. Refresh your pages. The chat is now working. Apologies. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I just got a message, and apparently there's some great evidence or some evidence of CPR. Fake CPR, TransAsia. So this was coming from Jono from Australian RoundTable, and hopefully he can show us this. So, you know, as time goes on, more and more comes out, and again, when we have this many questions, oddities, inconsistencies, lies, CPR, super baby, superhero dad, bullshit story, things of this nature, you take into account that this media fakery can be accomplished, it can be done, we've proven that with 9/11, you take all of this into account, it is absolutely no way, shape, or form lunacy to think this is a stage, this can be a staged event or a hoax, even though it's an upgrade to what they usually do. Again, they're upping their game, we need to be prepared for that. That's my point, guys. So I'm going to just leave it to you, David. What do you think?
I agree. That's it.
I don't know, guys. This is just how I feel on it. I mean, I think, you know, again, we need to be prepared. I mean, they're obviously doing this plane psyop, okay? This Asian plane crash, missing plane / missing plane psyop agenda. It is happening. And they are doing it, and we've seen several hoaxes, psyops, and it's going to continue. We will continue to see more Asian plane crash, missing planes, psyops moving forward. So
I just had a quick look at chat. Looks like Jeff's invited all his friends over to watch this, but I just got some advice for you people who are in there and bagging me. Just wait 3 days, and you'll see the real Jeff C. Okay, just wait 3 days and see if you still make these comments.
PK, keep that to a minimum. Come on, no, forget the chat. Listen.
No, here's the thing. We're not here to bash anyone. We're here to talk about the facts.
I understand you're frustrated, PK. To those of you, look, I can't control PK right now. Look, we understand. Just PK, keep it to a minimal. And I want to, you know, I went on the show yesterday and It's not about attacking each other. I don't want to attack. I've never attacked them. Never. I don't want to attack any. Okay.
Let's just talk about the facts of the case.
This is what we're trying to do.
And the truth will come out. And I always say you can always change your opinion based on new information. Look at the information, and you're gonna change your opinion if you are honest enough to look.
Guys, I just care about the truth of this, and I feel so passionately and strongly that this is a staged event, and so I think it's important that we have both sides open and both perspectives out there, and without being afraid to put their opinions and our perspectives on this, afraid of being ridiculed and mocked. I just want to, squash that. I just want to completely get rid of that stigma, okay? Because there seems to be a stigma that was created in any skeptic of this event, and this cannot happen moving forward. I think. This has got to stop, in my opinion.
Guys, what we've said, I mean, have we said anything wrong that, points about this being a hoax? Everything that we've said so far, if people can't see it, if people think this baby thing, can happen, I mean, what's wrong with you, honestly?
Well,
I don't know, where do we go with this?
Hey, I think there is a large number of people that are confused on what's going on. I'm seeing it on the Facebook post and in the chat.
Yeah.
Maybe Red Pill, we could just quickly tell them what happened. I mean, I can do it real quick in a nutshell. Red Pill.
If you wanna go ahead, because I have to pull up something. But also guys, just a quick note for anyone just tuning in. We discussed the possible agenda, or the multiple possible agendas behind staging plane hoaxes. They've done plane hoaxes, psyops in the past. Again, I just mentioned this is an ongoing agenda. So the motive is there. It's just it could be many reasons, and we discussed that early on in the show. So I urge you to go look back on the early on, or just wait till it's finished entirely. But go ahead, David, if you may.
So in a nutshell, when this plane crash happened, Red Pill came out with a video saying this sure looks like a hoax, and Jeff C came out with a video saying it's totally real, and they basically disagreed and didn't agree on disagreeing, and tempers got heated up, not pointing any fingers at anybody, and a bunch of stuff happened. So we're looking into it deeper. I look to say, okay, maybe Jeff's a great investigator. He's done great work. Maybe he's right. And I started investigating into a plane crash that I didn't even care about. And the farther I went into it, it's obviously a hoax. I mean, I would bet odds. I would give anybody 100-to-1 odds if we could prove it. So that's it, and that's all we're trying to do. We're not trying to bash anybody. We're just trying to look at the facts of this. This is an obvious hoax.
Like we always do, Dave, we ask questions. And, I mean, I keep coming back to this 100% real. No one in the right mind can say this is 100% real. If this is 100% real, I'm sorry, I've lost the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I don't know if we're going to have Tony... Oh, I was just about to say, I don't know if we're going to have Tony Mead come back because I wasn't looking at the Hangout screen, but...
Sorry, I just got back.
He is back. Welcome back. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I had to step away for a minute.
Okay, we've been discussing, of course, the details of the event and the what we feel are fabrications. We just discussed the woman that they used from an older event to portray as grief. That is what real grief looks like, as far as being a victim of a plane crash. And I gave my opinion. Of course, I think she's a crisis actor because she's fake wailing and no tears, and there's a media circus around her. And this is the manipulation and lies. And so we just got done with that. And so I want to get your take on this in general. How do you feel about this event, Tony? And what's your perspective?
Well, I think David brought up one of the points that I wanted to make, and he probably got that from my comment, you bastard. But one of the things that I noticed is that when you have blood on your face, what do? You wipe the blood off your face. Everybody wipes the blood off your face. You can't help it. Even a boxer in a boxing match wearing boxing gloves, when his eye is cut, he knows he shouldn't touch that thing, but he can't stop pawing at it with his glove. And none of those people do that. Also, the very first footage of that, the doors are not open, and there's 11 people outside of that plane, the very first footage. How the hell did they get outside of that plane?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. Yep.
Video compression explaining that. Video compression does not explain to me that pole going directly through the plane, the pole being in front of the plane, through the plane, and then behind the plane. You can't just wash it all away. Of course you can if you're trying to. You can explain away everything. Every Sandy Hook anomaly has been explained away and debunked by some idiot somewhere. So to me, the whole event seems staged. The idea that there's no motive, let's not be ridiculous here. There's exactly a wonderful motive, and this was executed perfectly. The couple days before that, the Jordanian pilot was burned alive in a cage using CGI. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We're all over that shit, explaining it to everyone, and then this plane crash came along, and we moved on, and it created a rift in the truth movement, especially amongst Jeff C. and you guys. Yeah. And me too. I called Jeff out on it right away. I'm like, listen, I don't agree with you on this one. I respect your opinion and get on with it. This is just a distraction. And you know what? It worked wonderfully, didn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Look, I don't. Distraction brought on by who? I asked him before. I never made any comments to Jeff. Red pill. No one did. Only one distraction is coming from one end, but forget about that. I'm going to ask everyone here and in the chat this question. I might use common sense here. That plane is upside down, okay? Just picture this. That plane is. Can someone actually put the vision of that plane up, please? Because I'm going to point something out here that no one's pointed out yet.
Okay. Yeah. 1 second.
All right. You could say something, Dave, while he's putting it up.
What I wanted to say is that the distraction, not to us fighting amongst each other, but they wanted to get the news will take the masses' attention wherever it wants to, and like David said earlier on, that this whole thing could have been fabricated, who knows, months ago, years ago, and sitting on the shelf until it was time to use it. It's not hard to put CGI together with a drill. We don't know when they did that drill. Who's talked to someone from frickin' Thailand? Not me, not you. We have no way to confirm or deny this thing. That Hitler video that was done was phenomenal because it was brilliant. It was funny. Like PK said, if it was about me, I'd have to laugh my ass off. There have been some made about me too. What are you gonna do? You just gotta laugh and move on. This is no big deal. This is nothing. In the total scheme of things, we've already wasted enough time talking about it.
What would be interesting? What would be interesting is what day and time did that happen, and what is the traffic like on that highway? If we could find that out, that would be, that highway was deserted. I mean, back roads in my town aren't deserted that much.
There were 5 cars, and 3 of them had freaking dash cams. What, does everybody in fucking Thailand have a dash cam on their?
Well, apparently, Tony, they do. That's a norm. That's the norm over there. But so people explain that.
We're told that's the norm. I find it hard to believe, dude. Don't you? I mean, right. They're living in poverty. Those people don't have tons of money. Those dash cam things cost $175 to $250 at least.
Apparently, almost every car. I don't know if they're required, but apparently most cars have it. There is what has been gathered as far as I've heard. So
yeah, I heard the same thing.
Yeah.
But who do you think is putting that information out there?
And we asked the question, why don't we see different angles of that plane? And I don't know what the comeback is about the traffic coming the other way. You just got to look at that helicopter footage. There's more cars going the other way than going the way that we see. You telling me none of those cars going that way saw anything?
So wait a minute, the cars coming the other way, it's a lower section of a highway, and it might not have had the same view. If you look at it, it's a lower highway.
Yeah, that can be explained, PK. So you don't want to.
It might not. Okay, but if you're further back, you might have seen the plane from 200 meters back where you ran in the corner. I mean, all right.
PK, get to your point about the upside-down plane. We just had a picture
Is it up there? Okay, hang on.
Yeah, I have it here. So, anyways, what did you want to?
Not a good shot, but.
How about this? This is actually some new footage we have of the plane crashing in the water. Breaking news. There it is. Case
Wow.
closed.
Where's
Guys,
the graph?
that's how it happened. This is breaking, guys.
Okay.
This is
Yeah,
exclusive.
but like I said, look, it hasn't snapped off, has it? Oh, okay. But show the real thing, mate.
Yeah. That's not. I'm just.
That was great how the rafts pull up right away too, wasn't it? Rafts are all there.
All right, there you go, Peter.
Proof.
I mean, it's not the best shot. I'd rather the side-on shot, but half of that plane's out, right? It's upside down. So we're assuming if it's upside down, we've got the door open. So the top of this plane, as we see it, is the bottom of the plane. So we will see the people, if you open that door, they're hanging in their seats, strapped in seat belts upside down, okay? So they are not underwater. They are not underwater. So any rescue attempt would go through that door, as we saw, and you take everyone out of those seats hanging upside down. Why the hell are these people up top drilling a rectangular square at the bottom? We're talking about so they're drilling the bottom of the plane where the floor and the bottom of the seats are. Surely they'd do it on the side somewhere, not on the floor going down. And we see this footage looking, especially on Random Shots video, looking down. It looks like the water comes right to the top. Physical impossibility, because we can see half the plane isn't underwater. So how is that water in that footage that we see looking down at rescuers grabbing people out of that hole that they've cut virtually up to the top in water? Explain that, someone. Explain why you would cut at the bottom of the plane and not the side. And why would you cut anyway? You've got that door open. People would get in there and take these people out within minutes.
Now, Tony, I want to say that we did discuss the agenda, the possible agendas behind this. Why are they doing this? Aside from this event, we know they've been doing plane psyops. We discussed that, and we discussed the possible agenda. So thanks for. I don't know if you heard that. So thanks for.
And you got to wonder, why is it all Asian flights?
Well, that's what we actually, we touched on that as well. Exactly.
Because we don't have any way to confirm it. We don't. How do we know? Who of us knows how to talk freaking Thai or speak to these people on these Asian? But they're all, how many Asian? If you Google TransAsia plane crash, you get a half dozen of them in the past 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And so PK made a great point. That's why he brought that up, and so that's why they're using these Asian planes for their agenda here, with the plan involving the planes crashing or going missing unrealistically, impossibly. So again,
it's all connected.
So Tony, it's all connected now. Tony, this is my point. That moving forward, this is for a bigger agenda. I mean, something is in the works regarding the conditioning here. I mean, that's without a doubt.
Peter, here's a better shot. Can you guys see this? Here's a better shot of the bottom of the plane. So basically, right in front of the wheels is where they cut that hole. I mean, how did they get through there? To get to the people when there's a door right over where those people are standing. It doesn't line up.
How did the people get out? Explain someone to me, how did those 11 people get out in the condition they are? And next time I catch a plane, everyone, I'm not going to put a life jacket on. I'm just going to sit a baby on top of me because I know I'll be safe then if it crashes.
Hey, the baby, that's Super Baby. I asked someone to give me a Photoshop image to Photoshop a cape on the baby and the dad, Superman, and I was going to do a whole thing. So hopefully I can come out with that. That's CPR,
And you realise of all the people in the plane, the one that wouldn't most likely not to be strapped would be the baby.
Right.
Yeah. Well, apparently, according to the story, they changed seats right before the dad.
Because he heard something suspicious while the plane was flying. Isn't that amazing?
And then the dad, of course, I told you, superhero dad, super dad. He, he saved the baby, even though he doesn't know CPR, and even though actually babies, you give CPR differently to a baby than an adult. CPR is performed differently. He still knew. He still knew how to save him, guys. With CPR. It's just.
So have you ever tried doing CPR in a sewage, 3 foot under sewage? And what, do you give him mouth to mouth as well?
I
you got to believe this story.
Oh my God, man.
I have a hard time confirming visually that the same plane seen in the CGI going, not just the picture going across the road, but the one from the rooftop with the guy running away. And there's two different angles on that. But every time I look at that plane, I don't see any purple on it. You know, the only purple that you see is the plane in the water. Where's the purple on the plane that's in the sky? Have you tried to look for that?
Yeah, I've looked. I haven't seen it, but it's hard to say, you know, does it go along the bottom?
No, it doesn't go along the bottom like it does on the plane in the water. Well, the one in the water is upside down, so what, the purple's supposed to be on the top? Is that the deal? I don't know. I have screenshots of it.
Exactly. By the way, I just want to point out that Tony, I don't know if you heard, but again, the main opposition of people thinking that this in no way, shape can be, in no way possible can be staged. The people thinking that, well, mainly they come up with the motive, so that's why we're driving home the point of the motive, because you talk about the previous events, and so there's motives behind those. So to the notion of saying, why would they do this? Where's the motive behind this? Makes absolutely no sense. It's insanity in my mind. So obviously there is a motive, because the agenda has been ongoing for a year and a half now. So with these plane psyops. So I don't understand how people can say that. That's just my thing,
Well, we don't know what it is, but we know that they're doing it.
Exactly. That's my point.
Of course we don't know. Well, like I said, there's method in the madness, and it'll come out soon. It'll come out, and how are we supposed to know the motives of psychopaths? I don't think like them. You don't think like them.
Yeah. Well, we don't know for certain, but there are definitely multiple possibilities and multiple agendas at the same time, simultaneously, maybe at work here with regards to these plane psyops. So again, let's just keep. I think let's keep that. Let's just keep that in mind moving forward, and watch out for the Asian plane psyops, because they're not going to stop, in my opinion. That's it. So
it'll be interesting when the next one comes up. What people's opinions are going to be on that. My God.
Well, it's going to be very interesting, yeah, because we look at the past, and also MH370 and MH17. In my opinion, those aren't really finished as well. We may see something that's going to tie back to that occur as well, right? Who knows? Maybe we'll see a plane pop up. It's going to be linked to MH370, right? It's going to be MH, So that's been discussed time and time again of those planes coming up again.
Yeah, they're still looking for the MH370 in the middle of Indian Ocean. We're paying $50 million Australian taxpayers money.
When it's a bunch of bullcrap, because it's impossible.
What do you guys think about the 100 scientists? The 100 scientists that disappeared on that flight. Have you heard about that?
100 scientists. I haven't.
100 scientists
from Amsterdam. I heard that. I don't know.
On that flight, then they were going to some kind of AIDS research thing.
Yeah, in Australia, I think. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's one of the stories that, and there was one specific guy who may have been targeted for a disappearance.
Do you notice in a lot of these plane crashes, even the real ones, there always seems to be someone that's pretty important that dies?
Right, or disappears. Really one of the things that I notice is a lot of times people I think people want to disappear, and so they claim to be dead. We don't have any way to confirm these things, but it seems to me like a lot of times, like I wrote that article on Sandy Hook, the deaths and disappearances of all those different people involved in Sandy Hook. But I've come to question anyway whether that was a factual or a fictional article. All of my resources were stuff that was posted on the internet from news media. So is it factual that these people, Bill Pajorski was 49 years old in perfect health, and all of a sudden he goes to the hospital and he's dead with no explanation of what illness he had or how he died. Maybe he just wanted to be removed from the situation. He couldn't take the pressure of keeping a secret forever, so he disappeared. Same thing with some of these other people. They may have been killed. The 27-year-old reporter, killed. These scientists are disappearing. There's like over 100 scientists have disappeared in the last 5 years, died.
Very, very, very interesting.
Astronomers, microbiologists, and NASA scientists or somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
David, did you talk on this show? Was it just off the show about how these people don't kill people, and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I could bring that up. People
Yeah, I'd
say,
like you to bring that up. It's very interesting, I think.
So, people say, like on Sandy Hook and Boston, wouldn't it be a lot easier? Occam's razor says the simplest solution is the true. Well, Occam's razor is a bunch of BS in situations like this, because wouldn't it be a lot easier to just get one mind-controlled, MK Ultra person, send them into a school to shoot up a bunch of kids? That way only 2 or 3 people need to know about it, instead of possibly thousands and thousands of people being involved, in an entire town. And the reason that they do this is we're in a war with whoever it is that's controlling this country and the world. And it's not a war for our money, but it kind of is money. It's a war for our energy. It's a war. It's a spiritual war. And they have to deal with our free will and karma. And they're not allowed to kill somebody, because if they do, they're going to pay for that on their next round, whether they continue to live or are reborn, or they're, however you want to look at it. They're not allowed to kill us. They can't, the government has the keys to all of our weapons. Why don't they just go invade Syria? Well, they can't until we bang the war drums. They couldn't invade Syria, Iran, Libya, until we bang the war drums. They had 9/11, and everybody banged the war drums. They can't take away our God-given rights. They can't hurt us unless we lower our vibration into fear and ask them to take away our rights, and ask and tell them to go bomb these countries. So that's my belief. I also, and the problem with that is 9/11. You got 3,000 people died on 9/11, and there'll be people out there that say nobody died on 9/11. Well, that's not true. I live right near New York. I have 2 friends that died in the towers. I believe something went terribly wrong on 9/11, and people got trapped in the towers and died. Now, the official number is around 3,000 people, but there's still half of those people don't have Social Security numbers, and their families haven't been located to this very day. So right there, that says that they've got fake victims again. Yes, the towers are gone. Yes, people died, but that, I believe, was an accident. I believe Flight 93 was supposed to hit Building 7, and I also believe what we saw on television of Building 7 fall is CGI. The building's gone, but they made it look like controlled demolition to capture people from realizing the real thing. The entire lower Manhattan was evacuated when that building went down, and I believe what we saw on TV wasn't how it really went down. I believe it went down just like the towers went down.
Exactly, and that brings up the point again of the media fakery involved with the CGI planes. Why did they do that? And of course, there's so many elements to 9/11. It's mind-boggling. It's not a simple thing as, oh, it was demolitions or it was just this. There's so many elements involved, and I think you can agree with that. And so we were talking about the use of CGI. So what really happened? I mean, it's just
there's different elements. There's projected 3-dimensional imagery for people on the ground. On television, there's video compositing. One of the photographers that was in the News 5 chopper that was, I believe it was broadcast on several networks, was the guy that wrote the software on and teaches a course on how to insert aircraft into live video. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why people in various forms, namely the September Clues Forum, they discuss this over the years about 9/11 being pretty much a media psyop. I mean, the media complicity, they wouldn't been able to been accomplished without the media. Every network being complicit, involved, directly involved, 100%. With actors, you have the fake witnesses of the media. You got the Harley guy, of course, right, and various characters such as this. You have, of course, the compositing, the editing, all of that, right, and of course the use of CGI. So
There are 54 amateur videos of the plane hitting the tower. All
Yeah.
right? It's amateur video and cell phone video. Of those 54, every single person is connected to mainstream media in one way or another. Do you know that?
And they all said, "Oh my God!"
Every single one of them. My friend Brian Stavley has a site. It's called The Real News Online, and he has evidence, pages, interviews with witnesses. Every witness crumbles under interrogation as to what, if they actually saw the plane hit the tower. And there's so much clear evidence of CGI with the planes. He believes that no one died, and he documents so much. He goes into how there was on one of the floors, like the 80th floor or 86th floor, there was this group of artists who, one of their projects that they did, they were Japanese artists, was to film people jumping out of the window onto, and they did this months in advance, onto a platform to make it look as if they were jumping out of the building.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's
So
exactly.
about the jumpers, people don't jump out of buildings unless they are on fire, right? No matter what, whether you think you're going to die or not sure you're going to die or whatever, people don't jump out of buildings unless they are out of control on fire. And we're watching people fully dressed, you know, jumping out, holding hands. That's a whole nother thing. It just doesn't happen.
That gets deeper into, but I mean, the thing is they are capable of this, and here's the main point. Again, driving this home, how this relates to now and to TransAsia and to how they can accomplish these things right now. Well, 2001, they can do this. Imagine, Tony, imagine what they are capable of right now. We cannot even begin to comprehend.
If you could do it 14 years ago in the biggest city on this planet, surely 14 years later you can do it in a pissy bloody Asian city of Taipei.
And also, that's what was frustrating me, because when this event first occurred early on, I was, people were saying, "Oh, how can this is impossible? There's multiple camera angles and this and that," and this is why 9/11 has been so relevant here within my consciousness, because I just know that this is deja vu all over again. I've been this route down this route and down this road with 9/11. What do we have there? All of what's going on here. We have the same thing. People saying the same thing. Multiple camera angles, and there's no way they fix. But it is.
Here's what gets me a little bit. Okay, is that we know that we have the technology, and Sandy Hook could have been pulled off seamlessly if they wanted it to be. The execution, the beheadings could have been pulled off seamlessly if they wanted it to be. This little CGI plane crashing. So I'm wondering if the real agenda is not to fool the masses, but to expose the critical thinkers, the quote-unquote conspiracy theorists, to separate us from the herd, number one, and number two, put us in a position where we no longer even believe any of the news. You know what I mean? Because that's where I'm at. I don't know about you guys, but when I watch the news, all I'm thinking is, this is not news. This is CIA propaganda. All right? That's all it is. Every second
of it. That's the way I feel now. Exactly. I'm with you there.
I read their lips and think the opposite of what they say. That's what I do.
And I wonder how much of this ties into the protocols of Zion, right? The protocols of the elders of Zion, because it seems to be being played out in our society right now.
Right. I want to put out a great comment to touch on that, Tony. Here is a comment actually by Counterculture YouTube user. He says, the mainstream media wasn't put in place in order to cover real-life events. It's not about free-flowing information. It was established by the cultural operators in order to experiment with and diminish the public's critical thinking abilities, by which advances and furthers their own agendas. You can watch and evaluate the footage of supposed plane crash a supposed crash as much as you want and attempt to conclude and deem this a real based on some well-orchestrated frames that's been manufactured out of some Hollywood production. Basically, do you realize what technology is capable of nowadays? Yes, which we've been talking about. So people noticing. A good comment. Thank you, brother. Counterculture. So yeah, I mean, I just, it's important people are aware of this, and this is what I just want to drive home, going back to 9/11.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the burning of that Jordanian pilot, I mean, it crumbles under close examination, right?
So much. It's ridiculous.
The world as a reason for Jordan to go bomb ISIS.
Oh, please
Exactly.
don't get stuck in it with ISIS now, please.
Yeah. They say we should wrap it up and keep this at a reasonable length, and I'm all for that. So
yeah, let's talk about ISIS on the next show, because we have some unbelievable stuff to discuss there.
Definitely.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much going on. Again, this event is again just taking a lot of people's time and energy, and it's been unnecessary. And so we just want to put both sides. We want to put our perspective, and let's move on. Let's agree to disagree. But hey, I think
shout out to Jeff C. Man, you gotta love the guy. He's done so much great work. I love listening to him. I love his always. He's got a very authoritative perspective on things, and you got to admire that.
I wouldn't be the person I am now. As far as my journey of truth here my journey of truth here without him. I mean, he's inspired me so much, and I'm going to continue to respect what he's done. And so that's all that matters. It's about respect, and I don't have, we all don't have to be best friends and whatever, but it's about respect. Respect what we do. Respect the content, and if we have that respect moving forward, I think that's all that matters. That's to me, anyways. So.
Okay, beautiful.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to be closing up here, guys. I think we just want. I think we touched on this event. PK, you have some videos coming up. So is there any closing remarks by you guys? I mean, final thoughts. What do you guys think moving forward we should take away from this? And PK, let's start with you. What do you think we should take away?
I'll be last.
And,
I'll be last.
And what do you have moving forward? Again, your videos. What's going to be in the works here?
Can you put me last, please?
Yeah, I'll go. As I said earlier,
what do you think we take from this? And
as I said earlier, it's my motto is it's okay to change your opinion based on new information. So this seems like one of those where you're like, all right, this one has to be real. This one has to be real. It doesn't have to be real. You flip a coin 100 times, it can't come up tails, but it could. If everything, it's just. They keep putting these fake things in front of us. They're wearing us down to get us not to care anymore. And the trick is to stay focused, see what's real, and don't consent. I do not consent. I do not give them my power, and I am not part of their system. I'm not sending them my energy, and that's all we need to do. And people say, well, all right, I see that all this is fake. There's nothing we can do about it. Well, there is something you do about it. It's just be aware of it, and then you disconnect from their energetic system. And if enough people do that, they die and we win.
Awesome. Very well said, my friend. Anything else you want to plug, brother?
That's it. I do a podcast for you, those of you that don't know, called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Basically, it's me and Tim. We're truth seekers like everybody here on the show. And then we have Mike Cannon, who's a comedian shill. And I would have banned him years ago, but he's one of the hosts on the show, and he basically just tries to debunk everything we do. There's a lot of dysfunction, a lot of curse words, and you can find it on iTunes and SoundCloud, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. All right, and check out my Facebook page, Exposing the Big Three. It's all about 9/11, Sandy Hook, and Boston bombing.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's so awesome. The big three. Whoever coined that, who did coin that? I don't know.
That was me.
Was that you? Oh, okay. That's awesome.
I did coin Exposing the Big Three, and I did steal Tony's wiping the blood off your face comment.
I knew it.
Dave, you should change it to the Big Four now after this plane thing.
Please. I thought about that.
So, Tony, well, anything to plug or any just final thought on this?
I appreciate you guys having me on here. You know, I'm really not much of a delving into everything. I'm more of a Sandy Hook guy, and I just,
No
progress
doubt.
is still being made every day. I can tell you there's big things on the horizon with Sandy Hook. We're attacking this through some weak links. We'll be exposing some of the shills that are involved, and we'll be serving some people with subpoenas, and we're going to chip away at this stone. And if you want updates, anyone who's listening, always check on our Sandy Hook Hoax Facebook page, and there you'll see the latest developments as we try to expose Sandy Hook. So thanks. Nice to be among you guys. PK, always love your work on the Boston bombing. That's it.
Cool, man. Thank you, man. I'll try to put the links, guys, for you guys in the for your outlets here under the video when it's published. So, PK, what do you got moving forward, and what do you want to take away from this moving forward?
I thought this was great. Oh, it was a great show.
Oh, yeah, we got got our points out. It was awesome.
Don't cut me off, please. I'm going to be reasonable here. Right from the start of this chaos, as you call it, my first comment says, "This we all got opinions. We all have opinions. We're going to be wrong. We're going to be right. But don't judge people if they make a mistake. Don't start calling them shills. I'm sick. You mentioned it, Tony. Then the word shill. No one's a shill. None of us are shill. I'm sick of that term.
Yeah,
you've got a personal grievance with someone, have it with them, but don't go out calling them shill. All right? And like I said, I've been suspended. I'm back in 2 days. I've got a few things coming up. And the people out there, I'm not here for subs. If I wanted subs, I wouldn't have never told Jeff to F off, okay? And that was a personal thing. I want everyone there before they keep calling me, they're backstabbing me. They're saying, no, sorry. They are saying I am backstabbing Jeff. I want everyone there who are making these comments that I'm backstabbing anyone to go into Russian videos where I've made my comments, and maybe on yours, Red Pill. You show me, if anyone can show me one comment that I have backstabbed Jeff or anyone, I will remove my channel tomorrow. Okay? For anyone that can put up a video saying I backstabbed Jeff or anyone of note, I might have had a disagreement with idiots who just hound me. That's different. But if I have never called Jeff a shill from the day I met him till even now. I will still not call him a shill. I will not bag this guy. I will put up videos and show the truth about this guy because I do not want anything to do with him anymore. I will put the truth out. Please make your opinion of me after this video. Don't judge. If there's a choice between me and Jeff, that's fair enough. I don't give a damn. I'm not here to make friends. I have made great friends. I'm not here to make enemies. If I do, that's sad. I'm not here to end fight with anyone. We all know we're in the same movement. We are fighting against psychopaths. And we're fighting them. I mean, it's just... This whole thing has been pissed me off. I'm trying to control myself in a way. I mean, I'm sort of speechless at the moment. But all right, please, people. I'm not sucking to anyone for subs. Anyone who thinks I'm sucking for subs, I'd go on these chat shows every friggin' day. I'm not interested in subs. People will sub me for my quality and quantity. If I'm going to be known for Boston, great. I'll go down in my lifetime. I'll be buried 6 foot under. I say, I've done my part in doing my best in exposing Boston because the reason I've done that is because we need to open up one of these hoaxes 100%. And if Boston is open up tomorrow, and Red Pill, you can plug the show that's happening in 2 days. If we can open up an event like Boston, which is so simple, that connects the dots to everything, and the world will wake up tomorrow. And that is my intention. That is why I created this second channel. I got talked into it. I was never going to do it. My first priority was to load up every Boston video because I want those videos to sit on the internet somewhere so it can be shared by everyone. Not for me, but for every decent human on this planet. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, well said, Peter. Now, listen, this is why I fully respect you, man. Because you know why? You have passion, and you're passionate about the truth, and people can see that. And that's what that's what Jeff has. Jeff as well. Listen, that's why I've always fully respected him, and will continue to respect him for, because his passion for truth. You can tell those of us who have the passion for truth and how we approach this, and when you hear us talk, I mean, this is all we care about. We just care about, becoming free, okay, of what's going on, and we have passion for truth. And so, PK, that's what people love you. You're passionate, man, and they see that. And yeah.
And you too, Red Pill.
Oh, thank you, man. I try. I mean, these guys beat me though. People like PK and Jeff, they are very good at expressing their passion. I think maybe a little more than me, but. I think people can tell that I'm trying to do the same thing. But on that note, guys, did you have a point there, PK, to make?
No, I just appreciate what you just said. I'm not sucking up you. I mean, like I said, I give credit where it's due, and we should all give credit where it's due, and not false credit. I mean genuine credit for someone that has something good. Russian Vids put up a good video. I liked it. I gave him credit. I'll leave it at that.
Yep, same here. I agree. And so that's it, guys. I mean, look, this was an awesome little discussion here. Thank you so much for coming on here. We put some things out there, and I think people now understand. Hopefully, this was also to help people understand why people think TransAsia it could be a staged event. So on that note, guys, I don't know when I'll have a next podcast on here. I don't know if I'm going to regularly have a show on here, but if I do, I mean, I'll let you guys know. So thank you so much to everyone in the chat. By the way, shout out to Big Daddy Dunk. I know he wants me to do an impression of him, so I'm going to do it. What up, everybody? Big Daddy Dunk here. So, Big Daddy, thank you so much. We love you guys.
Hang on, Red Pill.
What?
David, can you just promote our show, please?
Oh, David, can you give the details on the show, please?
Well, there's a little catch to it. It is a subscription service. It's Caravan to Midnight. If you go to caravantomidnight.com, it's a John B. Wells show, who used to be the weekend host on Coast to Coast Radio in America. It's a phenomenal show. He has great guests on, including me and PK exposing Boston this week. If you're not a subscriber, it does become available, but like several weeks after it's recorded. So we may be able to get it posted a little quicker. When we do, we'll attach it to this video and put it on our channels. Or if you like, I highly recommend subscribing to his podcast. It's phenomenal.
Awesome.
We'll try our best, guys. We're going to make this an awesome show.
That is a great forum to be on, PK. And Dave, good job getting him on there. That should be wonderful. I look forward to hearing that.
Yes, David, please give me the links after, or in the
Will do.
All right, guys. Good night, everybody.
Okay, thank you, guys. I'm gonna close out with the outro of this music. So if guys, mute your mic if you're gonna stay on. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.
Catch ya.
Together we stand and for your justice of our homework.
Everybody quiet, the government's trying to speak. Take a look around you and tell me, what do you see? Do you see these people fighting and dying to keep the peace? No, what I see is a monster. Everybody quiet, the government's trying to speak. Take a look around you and tell me, what do you see? Do you see the home of the brave and the land of the free?